Carmelo's a typical example of the perennial all-star who succumbs to father time. That's the case for most NBA players, but for nearly all 6 of these recent NBA stars, tragically that hasn't been the case. And for many different reasons, the prime of their career was completely diminished. Tonight's all about all-stars within the last 3 to 4 years who fell off. The winter grind is on. Stick around for Community Speaks after number 2, but here's 6 recent NBA All-Stars who disappeared and where they are entering 2019. Chris Bosh's legacy is set in stone and isn't forgettable by any stretch. A third option on a championship team in back-to-back years, his rebounds saved us from seeing Skip Bayless win first take.
He thought he was ready to outdo Michael Jordan. That's what he thought coming in. Trust me on this.
He's a 2-time champion, a proven clutch player, and things now take a depressing turn. If you weren't aware, tragically, Bosh has dealt with blood clots that threatened his life, and for now he's retired because of it. I don't want to focus too much on that because CB4 just returned to see my Raps play. Rightfully, he got a standing O. He helped sustain basketball in Canada, went on to win championships. So he's a Heat legend and a Raptor legend. He says he feels good enough to play again, but also would be fine if this was the end of his career. He'll turn 35 in March, so he could still be somewhat of his former self, but staying healthy is obviously the main priority. Denver's early success deserves its own video. I'm a massive IT fan. He has a chance to put Denver over the top, but they'll give him all the time he needs like Porter Jr. so he can start dominating fourth quarters again and hold his own defensively. I think angry Isaiah Thomas on the floor, not off it, obviously, is what we need to start seeing. I think he rushed his first recovery knowing he was in a contract year, but it was a pretty significant injury, and a hip injury specifically can just throw off everything for a player. Balance and upper body strength are 2 of the most important qualities that lead to a player producing. Thomas is 5'8", so they become even more important for him. Unlike these next 4 former All-Stars, though, Isaiah has a great chance of turning it around. 2 shoutouts next video, but here's the 2018 Community Speaks giveaway for the top 5 on the board. Even if you're a casual commenter, I can't thank you enough for the consistent support. This is the best Hoops Talk community on YouTube. Let's keep it up. Facts over feelings down there, as always. But for the top 5 in Community Speaks, take a look at the humble rewards. Hoping to make them 10 times better in 2019. I'll go more in depth on these next video. At the end of January is when I'm ending the Community Speaks board, so you got plenty of time to rally and get into the top 5. For next video shoutouts, stay tuned for today's question. Leave your take down below. Here's the next 4 guys on today's list. 0 points and 0 rebounds sadly represents the career of Roy Hibbert, as that moment was really the time where both his game and reputation took a disastrous turn. His foot injuries were really a problem throughout his whole career, and at 7'2", 270, it made it a lot harder for him over time to get up and down the floor. Hibbert ended up becoming a 2-time All-Star, even though the center position was as weak as ever at the time, and due to that, he was at times in the debate for the best center in the game. But as more and more stretch big men were drafted into the NBA, Hibbert's minutes steadily decreased because keeping up with shooting guard-like talents 10 times quicker than him wasn't in Roy's dreams. Chicago gave Joakim Noah up in 2016. The Knicks wasted a ton of money on him after that, and recently bought him out. Now he's in a Grizzlies uniform, actually playing pretty well. In his prime, though, the man was a coach's dream on defense. He was a massive part of helping them achieve 8 straight playoff appearances, a physically dominant defender for several seasons in that time frame. Of course, he had the intensity, hustle, IQ, and leadership, but it's how he combined the following qualities, I think. Lateral quickness, length, and strength. He'd scare guards who were expected to expose a much bigger player by using his 7'1" wingspan, contesting shots with ease. In every facet, he could take over a game defensively, and it all led him to the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2014. But as he approached 30, his game hadn't adapted to the modern shooting ways of the NBA, But more so, the type of play that I was just describing could not sustain himself, and he could never stay healthy. But with his reputation, a lot more opportunities should continue to come his way if it doesn't work out in Memphis. He is playing well though so far. We'll see if he can continue that and stick around in the league. You could argue Jeff Teague got his All-Star appearance from being a part of one of the most dominant regular season teams in NBA history. The 2015 Hawks spread your defense out and dominated you almost every game, until they ran into King James, of course. But Teague's rise to an All-Star appearance was pretty noteworthy. I think a lot of NBA fans were expecting him to keep improving. He didn't the next season in a contract year. The Hawks let him go, and he's been an average player ever since. Another man who Bulls fans are glad they got rid of, formerly one of the best two-way players in the NBA. The second option offensively to D. Rose, Luol Deng also had the size to stick with and bother shooting guards and small forwards on the other end. Tragically though, a near-death experience due to complications in his spinal tap back in 2013 put an end to his all-star career. Still has a spot in the league with the Wolves though. He's a good veteran leader. It's tough to say what kind of production he could still bring to the floor at nearly 34, but a solid career for Deng nonetheless. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed to support the channel. Subscribe to join the best hoops community on YouTube. Today's shoutout question is, out of the players mentioned today, whose story is most memorable for you as a fan? Thanks a ton for tuning in. This has been D-Flow. See everyone next video.